All right. Hello. Uh, Welcome to episode 3 of the Noir Society. Today is going to be a little bit different, and I guess I'm kind of new, so everything is different. But in this video, I've been kind of catching up with Nick Fuentes. He is really popular, and a lot of, other than the super controversial things that he says, there have been some great points that I've heard from him that, in large, I was like, okay, I kind of agree with this kid, and I guess I probably still do. But today, I wanted to go ahead and address this video that the Tucker Carlson and the N-word and retard conversation, the fag conversation that he had with Pierce Morgan, and I wanted to discuss Nick Fuentes' take on that. And yeah, let's go.
Good evening, everybody. You're watching America First. My name is Nicholas J. Fuentes. We have a great show for you tonight. Very excited to be back here with you tonight on Monday, December 1st. We have our Christmas decorations. We're getting in the mood for the season. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We got a big show for you tonight. Big featured story. We're going to be talking tonight all about President Trump's big post on Thanksgiving, kind of like a festive tweet, kind of like a festive seasonal Thanksgiving post. I'm sure you must have saw it. On Thanksgiving, President Trump posted some holiday greetings and specifically said, and, we'll talk about what it means. He said he wants a total and permanent pause on all third world migration into the United States, basically calling for an immigration moratorium. Not only that, he said that we need to remigrate or reverse immigrate potentially millions of people. And we'll go through the post. It feels already like it's super old. I don't know about you guys, but I saw the post. I think it came out on Thanksgiving Day, and now it's Monday, so I guess that was 4 or 5 days ago. To me, it already feels like old news, but we never got a chance to talk about it. I wasn't here Thursday and Friday, but tonight we'll talk about the post. And honestly, I saw it, and at first somebody sent it to me in a group chat. And for the first time in a long time, Trump put it on Twitter as well. It was on True Social, but it was also on Twitter. And somebody sent it to me and said, oh, it's another great Trump post. And I thought they were being sarcastic. And I pulled it up, and it was another one of these effort posts that is like 500 paragraphs. And it's another one of these holiday posts where he says, happy Thanksgiving to the haters and losers. And so at first I thought this is just more Trump slop, another 3-paragraph effort post, the same stale joke from True Social, more of the same. And then I read it bar for bar. I read the entire thing. And I was pleasantly surprised by the content. I said, this is not actually sarcastic at all. This is a great post. Remigration, pausing third world migration permanently, calling Tim Walz a retard. It had everything. It had everything that we've been wanting to hear for a long time. But and this might be the theme of the show tonight. Here's the thing about this kind of post and these kinds of statements, rhetoric. This is why people keep falling for it over and over again. This is why we're here in 2025 and the administration's a complete disaster. You look at the latest approval numbers, favorability ratings, it just keeps going lower.
Yeah,
the
he's
Republicans
over.
might even lose their majority in the House before the midterm elections because so many people are resigning. And we have to pay close attention, especially between now and Christmas. This is when people resign.
Man, get to the part. Get to the part.
All that being
bro.
said, people keep falling for it over and over again because they refuse to learn the lesson of history, which is that this is the classic Trump playbook.
All right, I'm going to scooch it up a little bit.
And
Sorry,
I've been
'cause
doing
this
the
isn't
show
part
for
that I'm
almost
that
10 years
interested in.
now. I'm satisfied to please on that front. And in response to the outrage with a post like
Come on.
maximum pressure,
Let's go.
the National Security Department, Chicago, this
Let's
day.
go.
And we have other stuff planned as well, but that is
Come
put
on.
in prison. Her
Let's
attacker
get to, I'm going to
is
get to the
at
part about
large.
Tucker.
They
Sorry,
don't have
guys.
him.
This is. I'm
And
sorry, I'm
Tucker
not trying
said,
to
isn't
drag it
that
out
ridiculous? You don't live in a free country. You can't say these words. You
Here we
can't
go.
say faggot or retard. And Piers Morgan refused to say it. He said, that's offensive. I'm not going to say that because it offends people. And Tucker, in a very humorous way, he's going viral. He says, faggot, faggot, faggot. He says, we love gay people, but we're going to say faggot. Go ahead. He says, and we love retards. Like, we don't want to abort disabled people like the left, but we're going to say retard. And I saw the clip, and I thought it was pretty funny, actually. It's a little bit funny. But then it sort of dawned on me what Tucker was actually doing there. Because you have to consider that Tucker, he's been in media for 25 years. And you have to consider that if you're seeing a clip of Tucker saying faggot, you're seeing it because this is being recorded in front of a camera for a show. And Tucker is acutely aware that he is being recorded by a camera on a show. And so the only reason he would say the word faggot and retard on a stream, which he has never said before in 25 years on television, in 25 years in the media, he's never said these words. All of a sudden, he's taking a principled stand, not in 2015, not in 2017, not 2020, not in the peak or the height of wokeness and censorship, but in November 2025, for the first time in his career as a 56-year-old man, he says, faggot and retard.
You know, let me just stop him right here for a second. I mean, I really largely like what Nick's got to say, but in this case, how the fuck does he know what Tucker Carlson said 25 years ago? How old is Nick Fuentes? I think he's like 28 or something. So how does he know what Tucker Carlson was saying 25 years ago? And I'm not trying to say that Tucker Carlson was running around saying faggot, faggot, retard, blah, blah, which, I mean, I'm a little bit older than Nick as well. So there was actually a time when those words were totally okay. Anyway, I'm going to let him continue, though. This does get good, and I want to react to this. So let's see.
Now, why did he say that? Is it because he talks like this in real life? I don't think so. Why did he say this? Is it to make a point? Possibly. I feel like the time to use those words and make that point would have been 5 years ago. Now I think it's a little passé. Now I think it's a little bit trite. 2025, Twitter has basically become 4chan. Now you want to say retard and you think you're edgelording. Hitler AI translated speeches are going viral on Instagram. You think you're edgelording.
Hey, and also, I think this is it. I think this is where we're going to start. Nick and I are going to kind of diverge. Is the tendency towards being an edgelord? It's unnecessary, but I mean, okay, the internet is designed, or maybe it wasn't designed this way, but the way that it has worked out is it sort of exacerbates the next negative parts of our minds. It exacerbates like anger. Or it feeds off of anger. I guess the algorithm would feed off of somebody getting pissed or rage bait. And in a way that's effective in getting attention. But if you, and it's also effective in rallying your base or the people that agree with you. But if you're ever trying to get the people who disagree with you to even pay attention to what you're saying, anyway, I'm gonna continue because I have a lot to say about this.
because you said retard and faggot in the big 2025. So what's really going on here? Well, it's obvious. He's clip farming. Tucker has discovered clip farming. At the ripe age of 56, Tucker Carlson has discovered that if you say faggot and retard, people are going to clip it and post it on Instagram, and everybody is going to laugh and laugh. That guy just said a slur. That guy just said a naughty word. Now, why do you think he said it now as opposed to 2 months ago or 6 months ago or 3 years ago, when maybe it actually would have meant something? To say those words on Fox News at the peak of wokeness, at the peak of censorship, when people were actually being banned, maybe that would have been brave. Maybe that would have been a principled stand. To say it now? Well, I don't think that we can look at this outside the context of our interview, my interview with Tucker about a month ago. And what has happened since the interview is it seems that Tucker is trying to position himself flanking me in a certain sense on my cultural right. Because the way that Tucker has talked about me ever since the interview is like I am the symptom of a disease.
Okay. Clip farming is a symptom of, again, like I was about to say, some of the more negative aspects of the internet. And in a way, if Nick Fuentes, well, actually, before I go any further, some of the reason why he goes so viral is that he's good at that. At the other end, I do think he's highly intelligent. I think he's really thought through what he would like to accomplish politically and sort of how to get there. A lot more than a lot of people have. So I give him that. But, God, I'm trying to think how to put this. Saying nigger or it doesn't, I don't know. It's kind of a goofy way to prove that you're cool or edgy is all that I'm saying. But let's just go on with this,
They're trying to diagnose the cause of my popularity like it's a problem. Like it is this horrible sickness. He says, why is it that the kids like Nick? Is it the economy? Is it his sense of humor? Is it the clips? Is it because of anti-white media? Why, oh, why is...
Well, I think all of those things are probably contributing to why there's a place for someone like Nick, for sure. What's funny is, like, because, again, I'm a little bit older. This isn't edgy. For sure. This isn't edgy for when I grew up, It was edgy not to talk that way.
This horrible person, why is this weird troll in his basement in Chicago? Why do people like this guy with his evil anti-Semitic worldview? And I think what you've seen since the interview is sort of like the J.D. Vance hive mind effort to reverse engineer my popularity. And so what does he do? He brings on Nayland Haley. He brings on Nayland Haley to explain why I'm popular. Here's a Gen Z guy. He's a based economic populist. And even though he's Indian, he's against mass migration. Isn't that cool? And then Tucker goes on Piers Morgan and clip farms. Hey, kids. If you like Nick Fuentes saying, can a nigga breathe, you're going to really love Tucker Carlson saying, faggot, faggot, faggot. It's like the most shameless ripoff I've ever seen. Shameless clip farming Tucker. How far he has fallen. He was at Fox News. A few years ago, he was on Fox News at a major cable network. Now he's on Piers Morgan clip farming for Zoomers on Instagram saying, faggot, faggot, faggot. Am I based now? Do the kids think I'm based?
Hey, you know what? I mean, anyway, I can assure you I've been saying faggot longer than Nick has. Can assure you of that.
Bro, aren't you like 57? You've never said faggot. You've never said retard in your life. At least not on television or radio or anywhere. Now in 2025, after free speech won and comedy was legalized and Elon bought Twitter and turned it into 4chan and the president said it, the president of the United States said retard on Twitter, now he wants to clip farm and say that. And here was the best part, because this was my first thought. Stop me if it was the same for you. When Tucker was pressing Piers to say faggot and retard, my first thought was, why don't we just say nigger while we're at it? Why don't we say that? But just as quickly as I thought that, Piers Morgan said it. Piers said, well, what about the N-word? And Tucker said, oh, I never say the N-word. It's an ugly word. It's like, dude, come on. So in 2025...
Okay, so in defense of Tucker, which I'm not a huge fan of Tucker or anything, that's not even what I'm trying to say here. But in defense of Tucker, oh God, okay, when I grew up, right, the word nigger was really never out of bounds to say. But it was said, and normally was spoken by people, like the same kind of people that Nick Fuentes make fun of. Like there would be like just lower class, lower IQ, kind of people that would use that word. So it just was just sort of, in the same way that we're suggesting that in the black community that they should use shame to sort of skirt some of the negative behaviors that happen in that community. Well, in the same way, there was sort of a shame aspect happening to people who just spoke that way. Not because it was like illegal to say or anything like that. It was just, I don't know. It was just kind of like, just a turd in a fishbowl, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of made the room weird. So it's like now the younger guys, which I don't know how old Nick is. I think he's like 28. I'm just guessing. But, someone who's like 16 thinks he invented the word nigger. Like he has the full perspective on how this word works. And then he can judge Tucker on how he views the word. It's just like, and I get it. Okay, I'm saying I got such a boomer perspective on this, but it's really just a more broad perspective on the word because I've seen it go from being totally okay to people just not being okay with it. And then, yeah, sure, through cancel culture, I can see why someone would want to say a word that has been canceled or that has been anything that we're told we can't do or we want to do it. I understand that. But I can also see, like, even for myself, it's like I never really did say nigger. So I don't know why I would start now just because it's edgy to say. It was like, who am I trying to prove something to, Nick or somebody watching this video? So, and I guess the same thing is for Tucker. So it's like, for Nick to, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't have any desire to say that word. I mean, I would say, yeah, sure, I'd say it. I mean, there's really no point in saying or not saying it, but I do think the word is ugly and it sounds retarded. So, Nick trying to gatekeep these words is kind of, I'm not really sure. I don't know, self-important or something here, like, trust me, everybody was saying retard and faggot and everything way before anybody knew who the fuck Nick Fuentes was. Let's just be real here. But I'm going to continue though. Like I say, I don't dislike the guy. It's just that I think in his youth and in his haughtiness, he's overlooking some things too. He's got blind spots. But anyway, let's go ahead.
If we're going to say retard and faggot, by the way, did that ever become controversial?
Well, I guess we're agreeing on that.
I don't think anybody really ever stopped saying retard and faggot. Certainly not retard.
Oh, right. Okay. See, we agree on that. We do agree on that. But again, if his suggestion is that you have to say nigger to be cool, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know. But I mean, again, I grew up in a different era. So it just wasn't a cool word. There was never anyone who said that word. Everyone who said that was, anyway, whatever. Continue.
Maybe not faggot. But in 2025, dude, again, you have people in blackface all over Instagram. You've got Gypsy Crusader throwing up Roman salutes and calling Cuff'em a nigger. And in 2025, you think it's edgy to say retard and fag because of freeze peach in the United Kingdom? But we would never say the N-word. Oh, really? Why not?
I just explained why not, actually. But again, he's got a different experience with the words. So I guess for Nick, he probably, again, he doesn't have the same experience. Like if he would have went to high school with me, I don't think he would have been a guy who used that word too, because he presents himself to be someone who's intellectual. And maybe in the North, I'm sorry, I'm from Atlanta. So in the North, it's probably possible that, in New York and Italian guys, they probably say, nigga, that's a nigga, so it probably is different. But here in the South, it's just kind of like redneck to say that. So And I don't know, I guess Tucker's from the North as well. So I don't really know. I don't know how it works. I have no idea about everyone's personal experience with the word. But my personal experience with the word is just that it just sounds ugly. It's not that I don't think black people were in the wrong at all. I don't think that it's just, I don't know. Just that particular word was not something that I ever used, even though it was totally okay to use. It wasn't even about cancel culture or woke.
Why can't we say the N-word? Honestly, saying the N-word is actually brave because that's actually canceled. It's definitely illegal in the UK. It's practically illegal in the United States. In effect, in practice, it is illegal to say the N-word in the United States. Because if you say it, you will get expelled from your school. Many people have experienced this. You will get recorded on Snapchat, posted on somebody's story, and some black kid screen records it and sends it to the principal, and you get expelled. You say it 10 years ago, 15 years ago on Twitter, you get kicked out of the MLB. You lose your job. In some cases, like in Minnesota, you get charged with disorderly conduct, like that woman whose name I forget, but who was really popular a few months ago that raised $250,000.
But that's, you know what? Actually, now I will say this is a good point about the word is that the fact that it is canceled, it's not really any. Like it's illegal to grape someone. That doesn't give me a desire to do that. So just because this word is, you know, sort of frowned upon doesn't really make me want to say it anymore. But I do understand the argument here, though.
In the United States, that's practically illegal. And he goes, oh, but that's an ugly word. I would never say that. Oh, okay. So what is this really about then? What are we really doing here, Mr. Carlson?
Well, I mean, again, okay, what we are doing here is freedom of speech and freedom to choose words that you don't want to say, I guess. And again, I'm not trying to stick up for Tucker Carlson. And probably in large, I agree with Nick Fuentes more than Tucker Carlson on most issues. However, on this one issue, again, I think his youth is just showing here that it's like, yeah, you got the freedom of speech, but you have to say nigger. You have to say it. You have to say it or you're not even fucking cool. It's like, dude, I have the freedom not to say shit too, right? There is that too, right?
If I can call you that. Mr. Carlson, I know I'm a young man and everything from Chicago, but Mr. Carlson, what are we actually doing here? The N-word is so ugly. Oh, that's hateful and horrible. Retard, faggot. What are we doing here? It's not about free speech. It's not about hate speech laws.
And also, let me say one more thing. I will say that for any word, it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. Say whatever the fuck you want, really and truly. Everything's on the table. But for me personally, like if I find whether or not I find something to be something that I personally approve of, which doesn't really matter, like anyone can do whatever they want to, but whether or not I approve of it is largely determined upon the intention behind it. So words like retard and faggot, I mean, yeah, you can say it to someone when you're pissed, but typically you wouldn't say retard to someone who's actually like mentally deficient, you know, someone with Downs, you wouldn't say you fucking retard. And maybe unless it was your cousin and you guys were kidding around with each other, but typically you say retard to someone who's like can't drive or your fucking friend or something like that. And the same thing with faggot. Which can also apply to someone you're pissed off, but typically you don't use that word in reference to someone who is actually gay. And then, but nigger on the other hand is a little bit different because typically you wouldn't say that. Like when I grew up, which was funny because when I was a kid, we called each other nigga all the time. What's that nigga? I mean, I said it all. That's all we said to each other. And I didn't really, I guess I just grew out of it. I mean, even at the time when I was like 20, 21 years old, that was just a word that we all used for each other because it was popular rap music. It was just popular. I didn't really, I don't know, somehow everybody sort of got away from that. And then I'm just saying, it's just like something that, like, if there was a gay guy at school, it wasn't like everybody was like, hey, faggot. And in the same way, if there was, you know, for someone who's black, you just don't, it's just ugly to just talk to someone that way. The words themselves can be funny, but largely in my own experience, the word nigger hasn't really ever been, you know, whenever that's you try to use as humor, for me, it just misses 99% of the time, but that's just a personal preference. And I'm sure there are a lot of people that agree with me, a lot of people that agree it's a funny word, and some people agree it's the worst word in the fucking world. It's whatever. I mean, anybody can think whatever the fuck they want to. Personally, again, what I was trying to say earlier is like, for some of these ideas, it would be nice if like, yeah, it's nice to have a good idea and try to say that black people need to address this and that, and then to have white people agree with you. Um, but it would even be better if the people that needed to hear what you were trying to say could listen to what you were trying to say without it being all fucking rude as fuck too. And again, you have the total right to say it. I'm just talking about it as far as effectiveness. So if you're effective, if your goal is to encourage the people that already agree with you, then you're being very effective in that way. If your goal is to actually, it doesn't matter, because politically it doesn't matter as long as the majority of the people agree with you, or as long as you can win the vote. You don't have to be tapping into um, any sort of communication that would appeal to people who totally disagree with you. It's just me personally, I think that driving wedges isn't it, that's not my goal anyway.
About comedy. It's 2025. You are clip farming. You are shamelessly clip farming. And there's something actually sinister. It's not actually harmless, because you might say, well, so what? He's getting in on it like everybody is, like women propaganda, that guy on Instagram.
Hey,
like
first of all, I'm using these words right here, but I don't think this is clip farming. I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody's even watching this right now. I'm just more. It doesn't make sense to have this conversation to keep saying N word and F word and stuff. That's the only reason I'm using the words. I have no intention outside of that. It's not like I'm trying to get some crazy attention for saying don't say nigger. It's like, just, again, nobody's even watching the damn shit. 3 people. Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you again for watching. By the way, I'm not trying to say nobody. I mean, 3 awesome people are watching this.
Crusader like me, like whoever. We all do it. We're all clip farming. And we're all edgelording, so much so that edgelording has become passe. Like I said, it's sort of become corny now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's become cringe. It's not even edgy anymore.
It's corny,
There's no
yeah.
edge.
Mm-hmm.
So you might say, well, what's the problem? Tucker's getting in on it like everybody else. Here's what's actually sinister about it. To me, this shows, as I said, there is a coordinated, deeply intentional effort to subvert this movement by mimicking it. This is the mimic. This is the mockingbird. And this is what the CIA does. A mockingbird. What does a mockingbird do? It replicates and aggressively mimics the call of the other birds. This is what they do. They're mimicking the show. Let's bring on Nayland Haley. I got kicked out of Con Inc. because I talked about populism and payday loans. Really? I'm Indian, and even though I'm Indian, I'm in favor of legacy Americans and shutting down the visas. Mimicry. And then the New York Post, controlled by Rupert Murdoch.
Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm new. I mean, I'm kind of new to Nick. I mean, I've known about him, not new, but I'm saying, did he invent these ideas, or is anybody who agrees with any of his positions, are they copying him? And then maybe he's implying that if they didn't agree on it with these positions months ago, and now that he's become more popular, and now that I do get his implication, but again, I think he'd just be, I think that in his own, the blind spot for Nick could be on the other side of the mirror that he's staring in all the time. I'm just kidding, but no, I understand why he does have a high view of himself. It's just that in that high view of himself, I think that he's missing some key possibilities here, and just assuming that it has to do with him. Which, I mean, again, I'm not saying that nothing has to do with Nick. I mean, this video has Nick in the title.
Says he's the leader of Gen Z. Oh, that's new. And then a week later, we get Tucker on Piers saying, faggot.
By the way, the reason why I have him on here is because actually some of the stuff that he's talking about, and even the Israel thing, is actually really interesting. And I am curious about it. So whether they shut him down or not, there's a lot of people that are still asking these same questions. Anyway, let's keep going.
Faggot, ha. Shamelessly clip farming for the gram. Shamelessly clip farming for TikTok. And it would be maybe you could call that playful. Maybe you could say that's funny if it were not for the fact that they are doing this because they want to subvert my credibility, my leadership, my momentum for one purpose, which is to support their guy in 2028, JD Vance. That's it. It's this simple. There is this cabal.
You know, he might be onto something, but in for a lot of people, a lot of older people, he really might be onto something there. But for most people, the younger people, even the people in between, I guess, I don't know where I'd fall into that. I'm going to keep my age close to the cuff right now. But if, yeah, Vance doesn't, Trump's already lost the momentum here. You know, just the boomers love him right now.
That wants to get JD Vance elected at any cost in 2028. They want him to be the nominee. They don't want it to be a competition. And then they want him to be the president. And they want to do that so that he can give all the contracts to Peter Thiel's companies, so that he can empower little tech in Silicon Valley. He's going to be their Manchurian candidate. And this cabal, they're all in on it. It's Thiel, it's Tucker, it's Hazony, Vance, of course. This little circle, they will do anything to get him elected. And they have identified as of a few months ago that I'm going to be a big problem for Vance because I'm super popular and I'm really viral. And I have an army that will do what I say. And if in 2020...
He has an army that will do what he says. I mean, it's probably true. But if I were one of those people in that army, I mean, I'm a person who's listening to what people are saying that makes sense. But I don't think I'm at anybody's beck and call, though, for sure. If you're at anybody's beck and call, that's on you.
I tell the Groyper army to go to the Iowa caucus or New Hampshire or South Carolina. And if I'm aggressively in opposition to JD Vance, if somebody else is running that has a chance, I might throw a wrench into this decades-long campaign to get this guy in the Oval Office. They're getting started early. They're getting started early in 2025, making a play for 26 and 27 to basically absorb my credibility and my audience and say, well, we have an offering. We, the Thiel cabal, have an offering for the youth that is similar to Fuentes. It's not politically correct. It's Israel critical. It's nationalist. It is something approaching pro-white. It's maybe anti-white. And we're gonna clip farm and say faggot, and we're gonna offer up some young people, and it's not explicitly racial, and we're gonna reassure the good Jews and Israel on some level that we're still gonna be allied. But we're gonna provide.
This is what I mean, though. He's actually got a plan. So whatever he's trying to accomplish politically, he's definitely thought it all the way through. He's not someone who's just like, mean people suck, and we need to get them out of here. No. He's thought it through. He's thought through how to become powerful, and he's actually exacting that right in front of us. So you got to give it to him. He's got that going on.
Offering that is similar enough that mimics Fuentes that people are going to glom onto it and like it as a pro-Vance alternative. That's the goal here. And it could not be more. It's so obvious now. I've been saying this for the past couple weeks, but it is now so obvious. Tucker bringing me on was not a way to support me. That wasn't trying to do me a favor, contrary to what people think. And it's important that people know that. He was not doing me a favor. This was a keep your enemies closer type movement, which was to bring me in to neutralize me, that I might be enamored or that I might be grateful or something and say, oh, thank you so much, while they shove the knife in my back and play these games like they've been playing for the past few weeks. Tucker does not mention the interview anymore without saying that I'm an anti-Semite in the same breath, and that's not right. And then turning around and promoting this other guy and saying, you can explain why he's popular, you're unproblematic. And then now the clip farming.
You know, what's funny is like in my opinion, and again, I mean, who the fuck am I? But in my opinion, though, he's already won the important battles. The important battle with the Israel conversation. So whether or not, and him being called an anti-Semite is basically him being called a winner in that battle, because they haven't really addressed anything that he said about Jewish people or about Jewish lobbyists and their influence over our government. They just keep calling him names. And every time they do that, they're just proving themselves, or they're just proving that he's hovering over the target. So we're getting caught up in this frivolous, faggot conversation on the side here. But anyway, let's keep going.
Come on now. And here's why they're never going to win at this. It's because at the end of the day, what they're doing is not authentic. And so it looks like America first, it smells like America first, it tastes like America first, but it doesn't feel like America first. Because it's not, and it's fake. And things like this are the perfect example. When Tucker gets up there and says, faggot, 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 oh, retard, oh, but I would never say the N-word.
That was a pretty good
It's
Tucker
so
laugh.
ugly and hateful. That's when you know. That's when you know that it's, I can't believe.
Well, that's when you know he's from a different generation. I can't explain this anymore, and there's no way that Nick would understand that. He's just too young to understand that there was a time when it's not about cancel culture. It was just didn't slide off the tongue as smooth because it was just ugly for the time. And I mean, if you go back, 60 years, that's what everyone referred to black people as. So it's like, it wasn't even edgy at all then. It's just not say it was edgy. So it's like, dude, just, okay, it's edgy now. But anyway, let's keep going.
Believe it's not butter. I can't believe you're not a real nigga. I can't believe it's not a real ass nigga going hard as fuck. That's fake. Obviously, it's in the same way how for the past year, they were going around telling people, you're brown, you're going back, you're a third worldist, you have 100 days until Trump deports your brown ass. Wait, you're making fun of Usha Vance? Not cool, dude. You called her a Jeet? I won't even repeat that. It's so awful. Like, that's how you know it's not real, okay? You're not a white-ass nigga going hard as fuck. If it's not the N-word, I don't want it. If it's got an Indian wife, I don't want it. If he's a fat piece of shit, I don't want it. I've been saying this. This is the battle.
I'm going to leave all that alone. I don't agree with a lot of that, actually. Let's go a little bit further.
Here's why we need to make it contentious.
Well, because actually, I'm going to stop it there. You know what? Marry who the fuck you want, bro. Don't marry who Nick Fuentes tells you who to marry.
It needs to be a battle, and I'm going to tell you why. Because what these people do, and by these people, I don't even mean Jews. I mean the CIA. I mean these operatives, whatever the fuck they are. I don't know what Tucker is, honest to God. Like, if you told me that Tucker Carlson goes back to his cabin in Maine and like takes off a rubber mask and he's an alien underneath, I would believe you because I don't know what he is. I couldn't tell you if he's a Russian, if he's a CIA operative. Honestly, if he's a lizard from outer space, I don't know what he is, but he's not who he says he is. He's not real. He gives me uncanny valley vibes. There's something off there. There's something not quite right. There's something that isn't honest. You're not actually getting forthrightness. You're getting a simulation of it. You're getting a very calculated, very, very choreographed, very rehearsed, very intentional replication of the guy that fishes and has a cabin full of knickknacks and just likes nicotine and
I think to a degree, I think Tucker just grew up rich as fuck too. Yeah, whether or not he has all these nefarious intentions that Nick's implying, I don't know, but I think he is not a regular guy in the way that he's implying here. He is kind of like a goofy little fucking rich boy that is trying to, I mean, he probably did fish, but it's not the same way that most people associate with fishing. So anyway, I'm listening to you here, brother. Let's see what you got.
Ops to the Putin interview. You're getting a simulation. I don't know what he is. And what these people do, these operatives that are not like Americans, that are not like us down here in Chicago, okay, or wherever, what they do is they skin suit. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and they did it to Trump. They did it to Trump. None of these people even liked Trump. Look at what Tucker said about him. Tucker said that Trump is a demonic force. He said he hates him, and he can't wait to never have to cover him again. For the 4 years preceding that statement, all he did was pretend to be the intellectual foundation of Trumpism as a national populist or whatever. They skin suit. They emulate.
Mm-hmm.
They mimic. They emulate the song. They emulate the rhetoric. They emulate the look, the vibe, the emotions, the emotional appeals, all those things.
Well,
While
it's
they
also true that people do change, and also trends do change. So, again, not everything has to be nefarious.
slide their agenda in underneath, while they slide their agenda, their personnel, their people, whatever. And they're doing that to the Groypers right now. They've tried to do it over the years, but they're doing it once again very aggressively right now. And if we don't say something when we see something, something smells funny here, we need to say that. We need to call it out and be alert.
Yeah, it
Because
smells like
if
we
we
got another
don't, they will
corporate
do
guy.
the same thing to us that they did to Trump. Look at how Trumpism has changed. It went from MAGA, America first. We will no longer be misled by the siren song of globalism.
And he's also got a point here. Trump was elected by people who weren't even into politics. He did hijack a movement, or at least pretend to be the spokesperson for that movement. And I guess Nick is saying that Tucker Carlson could be trying to be the spokesperson for Nick's movement, which could be true. I don't know. It might be true. We'll see.
Is controlled by international banks and global special interests. It went from that to the radical left Democrats want socialism. They skin suited, they subverted. They want to do the same to Groypers. And they want to steer it away from talking about the politics of identity. That's why Tucker's giving the speech about blood guilt. Let's not talk about Jews. Let's talk a lot less about Israel. As a matter of fact, it's not even about Israel. It's about the neocons and the evangelicals. Look somewhere else. Look over here. Look over there. It's the evangelicals. It's Colin Powell. It's the neocons, the Vulcans. It's everything other than what it is. Always. Oh, the Great Replacement? That's about voting rights. It's not racial. It's not that the country was white and is now brown. No, it has nothing to do with that. This is about voting rights and a meritocracy, and it's about civics and citizens. Look everywhere else other than what's actually going on. Have to call it out. Have to call it out explicitly.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with Nick, though. Those are conversations that, at the very least, have to happen, because there are a lot of people who have a lot of questions, and they're not going to go away just by ignoring it or moving on to another conversation. So about the demographic change in America and the Jewish influence over our politics, those are two things that there are a lot of Americans that are just not willing to move on until they get some explanation.
Directly and in detail and with precision. Because if it's not a fight, then it's going to be this meld. It's going to be an invasion of the body snatchers, infection, and they're going to take over this whole thing. And that's what they're trying to do. It could not be more obvious. He should have waited a couple months. But he does the interview with me, and then a month later, he's clip farming on Piers Morgan. Did you know your grandpa can...
Hold on. And also, it wasn't that he was just clip farming on Piers Morgan. He did... There was a reason why he said that on Piers Morgan. It was because that girl went to jail for saying the word faggot to her friend in a text message. I actually did a video on that earlier. Anyway.
Hey, retard and faggot too? Come on, bro. Hey, kids, turns out grandpa can say retard and faggot too. But never nigger. But you can't say that ever. Oh, really? Why not, Gramps? Why the fuck not? That's the only one that actually matters, actually. Retard was never disallowed. Faggot was barely disallowed. The N-word is the one that you still have to say the N-word, by the way. And he goes, oh, but never that. That's because you're fake. You are fake. You are simulating this.
Or
you
he's
are
from a
giving
different
us
generation, Nick.
kid-friendly
Or he's from a
version.
different generation.
Here's your little kid scissors that don't actually cut anything. Here's your kid's meal. Here's your little side of mac and cheese, and we're supposed to eat that up and be happy. Oh, well, we got our offering from Fox News headquarters, from Peter Thiel headquarters, from Vance 28 HQ. They can say retard too. No, I don't think so. I'm calling bullshit on that. That's totally ridiculous. You can't play it that way.
Well, hold on a second. Also, let me just say this, and even if it was cancelable to say the words like fag or retard, and through the edgelords, they became words that can be used again. Isn't that cool? I mean, isn't that cool? Shouldn't you be happy? Why are you going to gatekeep the fucking word faggot now?
He goes, come on, say it, faggot, retard. Oh, but that's so ugly. You can never say that. What are we doing here, bro? You're 57. You're going to start using the retard word now? Really? A little late in the game for that, I think. Kind of sad, actually. Kind of sad to try to pander to the kids in that way. I say it. I've said it my entire career. I say it all the time. That's how I talk. And I'm being looked down upon for this. These are the kinds of things that tell you who these people are. And you might say to yourself, well, of course Tucker can't say the N-word. It's like, okay, well, then he shouldn't be going around saying the other stuff either. You're either making a point about free speech or you're not. And if you're not, then what are you really doing? I don't like it. It's weird. It's weird.
Well, it's again free. You have freedom not to say certain words.
And it's not what it says it is. And I don't like it. So I saw that and deeply creeped out by the whole thing. Like my whole experience, you have to realize they're deeply uncomfortable with the fact that I've become super popular and mainstream. And do not underestimate how sophisticated they are, how convoluted their plans are to try to derail this. And again, I go back to what I was talking about last week. Last week, we talked about the backlash to the interview. It's coming from the World Jewish Congress, Republican Jewish Coalition, North American Jewish Federation, Conference of Major American Jewish Organizations, the Tikva Fund Jewish Leadership Summit. What's the common denominator there? At the same time, we have the other guy going around and telling people this speech about blood guilt, which is supposed to imply that we're never supposed to talk about the Jews. It's only about neocons. Something deeply strange and convoluted is going on here. Don't underestimate that. The devil actually resides in the details. Like he literally lives there. Okay, so don't think that that's me.
Wait, did Tucker just win people over when he was saying fag earlier? I don't know. I missed all that. I mean, I did see that, but I'm just saying, like, I think, yeah, the Jewish connection has not changed at all, Nick. Let's keep going.
Nitpicking, that's not nitpicking. It's subtle, but that is a very solid demarcation there. Anyway, so that's that. I saw that clip, and like I said, at first I thought it was kind of funny, and then I'm like, wait a second, he's clip farming. Wait a second, why is he clip farming? He's trying to be me. He's trying to steal my flow. You don't say this stuff for 25 years. Now you're trying to do a kid-safe version of it because all you want to do is pander to the masses. You don't actually want to empower the masses. Pander to the trivial things that they like, jingle the keys in front of their face like babies, and they go, oh, he said a funny word. What I'm giving them is empowerment. I'm telling them we don't need to listen to Jews in our country anymore. That's what I'm empowering them. I am telling Americans the story of our people, where we came from, who we are, our God, our civilization, our ancestors, our heroes. I'm telling the story of our civilization, who we once were, who we are, what we must become to get back our country. That's what I'm giving them. It's not just slurs. You might think it's just about saying a naughty word to get a chuckle from the teenagers. I'm giving them political consciousness, racial consciousness, spiritual consciousness for political empowerment. That's the difference. That is what they will never give you. They might say retard. They might clip farm. They might give you someone that looks the same, sounds the same, but it's not the same because they want to keep you enslaved to the system because they all want you to go to the polls and vote for J.D. Vance in 2028. This guy with the Jeet wife.
This is silly.
Go ahead. On my next interview with Tucker, maybe I'll press him like he pressed.
This is silly logic, though. So he's saying that because Tucker's wife is Indian, then he's okay. Or because he didn't say nigger right, or because he didn't. And then this is like, I mean, I understand that he's getting at some sort of deeper meaning and stuff, but he's kind of losing me here, you know. Why can't I get this comment? Damn it.
Piers Morgan. Tucker pressed Piers, say retard, say faggot. I'll say, hey, Tucker, say nigger. Call JD Vance's wife a Jeet. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's about free speech, isn't it? Go ahead. It's edgy. We love black people. We love Indians. Go ahead. Say nigger, say Jeet. Try it. See how it feels. Do it just once. Say it out loud just to see how it feels. That'll be the next interview. We'll see if we get that. But anyway, so that's the clip. I couldn't believe it when I saw that and digested it. I was like, son of a bitch. But that's that. We're going to move on. We're going to get into our featured story. We might not have time for Venezuela. That's okay, because this is going on all week. We're going to get into the post from Trump on Twitter. Very similar. This is like almost exactly the same thing. And once you see it, maybe you'll really start to understand where I come down when it comes to politics, for example, during an election, and why I do it. For many years, people never understood why I don't vote or threaten to vote for Democrats, although I never have, or why I'm constantly antagonizing my own side. These are examples why. Our featured story is all about this post from the president on Thanksgiving, and I guess I'll just read it to you. This is in response to the shooting of the two National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C.,
I want to
which
pause.
took place last week. One of them is now dead. The other is in critical.
Let me pause right here and say that this is exactly what I mean about the fact that Nick Fuentes is a very smart person. He's definitely thought this out. And yeah, I don't think that any party should have just your blind allegiance. That means just like the way that they put Kamala in front of the Democrats and didn't even didn't give them any other options. Yeah, that's not even democracy. Anyway.
Condition, but seems to be recovering a little bit. And it seemed that Trump was very angry about this. You could see it on his face when he gave a statement about it the following morning. This is what he posted about it on True Social and Twitter. He said, quote, and this was on Thanksgiving. Our president said, a very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all our great American citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. That was the first sentence. That's kind of an awesome sentence. But he goes on. There's a lot of ideas in there. He writes, the official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people, census, citing the census for that number, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels.
Is that true? Is that true? Most of the people from third world countries are on welfare? I did not know that. That would be an interesting factoid to have because yeah, if there's that sort of trend, I mean, I can see why Nick's becoming so popular.
And their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. The real migrant population is much higher. This refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. Failed schools, high crime, urban decay, overcrowded hospitals, housing shortages, and large deficits. As an example, hundreds of thousands from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey, as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both. Well, the worst congressman slash woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab, and who probably came into the United States illegally, in that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its
That's so
constitution,
true.
and how badly she is treated when her place of origin is a decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, as an American person, I mean, you know, Ilhan Omar she's elected to office. She got here by marrying her brother from Somalia, and she hates this country. All she does is talk shit about white people, Christians, fuck America. And it's like, dude, you know, as an American, you know, just a person born here, just a regular person, you're like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what is this? Like, anyway, not even get the fuck out of here. That's not even how I mean, basically, get that fucking attitude out of here. There's no place for that. And you couldn't, there's a lot of countries you couldn't just show up there just hating the people there. Marry your family to get, anyway, let's just continue. And I'm not, anyway, let's just continue with this.
Government, military, police, schools, etc. Even as we have
it's just poison in the well, you know, it's just fucking poisoning the attitude. Anyway.
Technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's autopen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country, end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. That was another run-on sentence.
A huge
These goals will be
sentence. Yeah,
pursued with
long
the
ass
aim
sentence.
of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal autopen approval process.
Look, you know what? I mean, and I guess to Trump's point, it shouldn't have got to that point then. You know, if this is, you know, and I guess, yes, if there needs to be some, yeah, if there needs to be some sort of radical action taken, I guess that's what it would have to take to keep this country in a place that people even want to come here, because if then the direction is going, we're kind of losing that. But anyway.
Only reverse migration can cure the situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. So those are the Thanksgiving
That's
greetings
a hell of a post
from our president, Donald Trump. Honestly, it's a great post. This is like a legendary all-time, greatest of all time, Hall of Fame post. Masterfully written, contains all the most of the essential ideas. It's perfect. It's a great statement from start to finish. Then he really got into the wholeness of the problem, which is that the country's being invaded.
Cloudy, yeah, it seems like, yes, the ones struggling will always want to come here, and you're starting to sound like Nick Fuentes as well, or you're starting to sound like some sort of, I'm not even going to say, you're starting to sound like American nationalist. I'm not going to say a white nationalist, but American nationalist.
Illegally. We have a massive foreign-born population. It's bigger than ever. It's creating social dysfunction that didn't exist before the mass migration. It is a burden on the country fiscally and economically. The people that are here are ungrateful and sort of sick and twisted. They hate the country, but all they do is complain. And there is this complacency because Americans don't want to complain about it. Mm-hmm. The immigrants come here from broken countries. They cause the problems. They do so illegally. They are
and this is also happening in the UK. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but there have been, many protests in the street. And it seems like the natural born, and I hate to say it, but the white British people, and I guess even the black ones, I mean, they're really kind of sick of the African Islam. Anyway, the ones that are from the Middle East and coming from Africa are really starting to wreak devastation in British neighborhoods.
Drain, and the American people, they don't want to complain about the arrangement because they don't want to get punished or they don't want to rock the boat. And Trump's prescription is perfect too. He says we need to basically revoke their legal standing to be here. The asylum seekers, the illegal border crossers, wall jumpers, everybody basically that does not have citizenship, he says, needs to be removed from the country, and will terminate visas, asylum claims, deferred action on deportation, whether that's TPS or DACA. He says, we're going to terminate all that. We're going to remigrate the people. They came here in massive numbers against the law. We're going to reverse that flow in massive numbers, consistent with the law. They came here by the millions. They will leave by the millions. They came here and caused the problems. By getting them out, we will solve the problems. That's the idea. And it's perfect. And you read this and you get excited. It's actually a funny post. He goes on this tear. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving. It's a funny, hilarious, incisive, witty, direct. It's a great post. Here's the problem.
Yeah, nothing will happen. Or not that
I read through this and I said, this is awesome. Like I said, everything I've just told you, this is my reaction. It's great. But what actually is ever going to come of this? What are we actually doing about this problem? We have been at this for 10 years. Trump came down the escalator in June 2015. It is December 2025. It has been 10.5 years. We have had 5 years of a Trump presidency. 4 years in the first term, nearly 1 year in the second term. What have we done about this? If anything, it's gotten worse. It got worse in Trump's first term. We had record-breaking illegal border crossings in 2019, hit the cap for H-1B visas every year. So in terms of legal and illegal immigration, we didn't see a major reduction. We actually saw increases. There were no mass deportations, no wall, didn't change immigration law. And that's why all the executive orders that Trump created were instantly reversed when Biden was elected and brought in 10 million more illegals and brought in a ton of legal immigrants to boot and let things get worse than ever before. Now here we are for the second term. In what way, shape, or form has any of this gotten better? We closed the border. That should be a given. But the mass deportations are not materializing. We're deporting about 1,000 people per day. How many are bringing in on H-1B visas? How many people are being naturalized? It looks like there are proposals to double the number of H-1B visas. There have been more naturalizations this year than last year. More naturalizations under Trump, not even in a full year, than under a full year of Joe Biden in his terminal year in his term.
You know, and for anyone who actually doesn't agree with Nick Fuentes, you know, you got to find some place to meet him in the middle, and not just him, but the people who agree with him, because you know, 15 years ago, none of these things would have even made sense to most Americans and everyone. But now it's gotten to the point that, you know, I think people are frustrated, and rightfully so. And now whether or not Nick's got the right solutions, I'm not sure. I don't know the right solutions, but someone's going to have to come up with a better idea than what he's got, though, to combat his energy or to combat the power that he has over the people who are listening.
So what are we actually doing here? What are we doing about the problem? People look at these types of statements as though Trump is saying them as the candidate running against an incumbent, but he's not. He is saying these things as the sitting president who has been here for a year, who has been in power off and on for 5 years, who's been around for more than 10 years. And when you read a statement like this, and it's not the first of its kind, and you've been reading statements like this for 10 years, you begin to wonder, when is this actually going to happen? Where is the follow-through?
Yeah, and I don't think it will. I mean, yeah, I think we're just gaining popularity, same thing that Trump's doing. But then at the end of the day, there's an agenda that's pretty much being played out. And then sometimes, you know, he'll throw the people a bone here and there, but the agenda is being played out.
When will there be a delivery here? A tangible win on any of this? And then you realize that this is the strategy. This is actually their intentional playbook. They're deeply conscientious of this. And this is how it goes. What is happening right now, obviously, is that Trump is more unpopular maybe than ever. Certainly he's more unpopular than at any other time in this second term. His favorability is in the toilet. His approval is in the toilet. Specifically,
And I don't know what he's about to say here, but largely in part to the Epstein files and the Israel situation and Iran situation. So, which Epstein is also tied to Israel. So there is a common denominator for why Trump is losing popularity.
his approval on immigration and the economy is very bad. For the first time in years, voters actually favor Democrats on the economy over Republicans. People blame Trump for the state of the economy more than they blame Biden. Any way that you cut it, Trump is in real trouble with these numbers. Numbers polling his own base, polling Republicans, independents. Any way you cut it, it is catastrophically bad. And he has only himself to blame. We're cutting Medicaid to pay for corporate tax cuts. Doge was a total failure. We're bombing Iran. Prices have not gone down, and the economy has not recovered. The tariffs have been a complete disaster. There are mounting signs all over the economy. We're in a real estate bubble. Consumer spending is slowing. The job market is frozen. They're not even releasing the jobs report in October. On top of all that, they didn't even release the Epstein files. So it is a total disaster. That is why he's unpopular, and it's self-inflicted. It is because rather than keep his promises, all that this administration has done is enrich the people that are in it. There is rampant, basically criminal levels of corruption in this government. The very people that Trump brought in to drain the swamp, they're looting D.C. They're taking everything that isn't nailed down practically. They're fucking stealing. They are corrupt. That is all these people. You know, why do you think they brought these people in? Someone like Howard Lutnick and David Sachs, and, you know, these people, they are criminals. So this is, and it's important to understand this, contrary to what the true believers, the plan trusters say, this is not actually the result of a political system that is so difficult to overcome that, you know, they can't do it in a matter of 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not even trying.
Right.
It is actually for a lack of trying that it is this way. They're not trying. It's a joke. Kristi Noem is a joke. Kash Patel is.
You know, and I actually believe he's right here. I do wonder why, though. Like, I mean, I guess the obvious reason is that people lie to get elected and then they get in there and just do their thing. But I mean, you would think after this long and people are becoming this aware of this, it just, I mean, hopefully with politics being this in the spotlight, you know, we will see some change, but because otherwise this is a very depressing thought here.
A joke. Pete Hegseth is a joke. People allegedly are in there blackmailing him. It's like every person in this cabinet is a complete disaster. And the reason it's like this is because it's all patronage. Trump got in office to stay out of jail. He had to cut deals to get money. And now that he's in, he had to reward the donors by allowing them to pick the cabinet members, reward other people in the party with these patronage posts. And now this is what we're getting. So this is an utter and complete catastrophe. There's no deportations. We hit the H-1B cap. We're in a war with Iran. We're going to go.
Claudia, in answer to your question, but was Trump a part of it before he got reelected? Is it really his presidential leadership ability and competency or just voters' expectations? I mean, I think, yes. Well, I think that there were promises made that have never been filled in our entire lifetimes. But some of those promises have never been made before. Some of the things that he said have never been said before. And so for a lot of people, they were like, wow, this is, you know, myself included. I was like, wow, not even like I really cared about him. It was just like, okay, this person's actually saying the things that matter to most people right now. Maybe and he wasn't a politician. He wasn't a career politician. So everyone's thinking, okay, this might be something different. I don't think that same naivete will exist amongst the well, at least amongst a lot of people who are voters on this next election and the one following. I think that I think that any naivete was quelled with the lack of delivery on Donald Trump's part in two different elections. Maybe you think the first one, it may take 3 or 4 years to get it going, and then it got reversed with Joe Biden, and now we're back in. And yeah, we're just starting to see that actually there are powerful people behind the scenes, which we always knew that. It's just you kind of just hope that maybe you can overcome this. We hope that we can vote our way out of these situations, but it's becoming blindingly obvious that that's not how this is going to work, at least not in the conventional sense. So in that way, I am curious about, at the very least, about Nick's idea about how to combat this.
Go back very soon. It's just like one cataclysm after the next. Here's the playbook. It is in this context where Trump posts something like this. Poll numbers down, favorability down the tubes, economy sucks, all these wars are breaking out all over again. Everybody's deeply unhappy. What do? Let it rip with the racism, let it rip with the retard, let it rip with nativism. I know what'll get those stupid idiots back on my side. I'm going to do a racist rant.
But you know what, though, Nick? I mean, god damn, isn't that not... I mean, I know that he has some good points, too, but doesn't he use some of that same dog whistling to get people to...
I'm going to go on Twitter and True Social, and I'm going to let it rip. And I'm going to be obnoxious and belligerent and politically incorrect and brash and controversial. And I'm going to say something so shocking, so edgy, so ridiculous that everyone is going to be talking about this and not that. Everyone's going to be talking about how I called Tim Walz a retard. Everyone's going to be talking about how I said this about Ilhan Omar. I'm going to pack 15 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag of controversy and rage bait and clip farming so that nobody's going to pay attention to the fact that we didn't even release the October jobs report because it was so bad. No one's paying attention to a war in Venezuela that nobody wants. No one's paying attention to Black Friday consumer trends being a disaster, the job market failing. No one pay any attention to the complete and utter disaster. Republicans might lose their majority in the House before the midterms because so many people are jumping ship. But
Good
don't
point.
look at that. Look at my racist rant.
I mean, I'm not a Republican, but I did vote for Donald Trump twice, actually. And I don't think I'll be voting for J.D. Vance. That doesn't mean that if Kamala runs again, I'm going to vote for her. But yeah, these guys do not have my blind vote for sure.
Look at my stupid little rant on True Social that I'm not actually going to do shit about. I'm not going to follow through on any of it. That's the best part. It's not, I'm going to satisfy my base responding to their needs and demands. No, I am going to pander to my base as though I give a shit about what they want to distract them from how I'm betraying them in every other way, including the ways in which I'm pandering to them about. That's what this is. That's what this always is. I'll give you examples. In the 2018 midterms, after Trump was elected in 2016, it was clear that we were headed for a blue wave. There were already very bad signs. We lost the Senate special election in Alabama. We lost another special election in suburban Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. There were a lot of warning signs that 2018 was going to be a bloodbath. And by 2018, they did the same thing, which is instead of giving money for a border wall and fixing immigration, they did a corporate tax cut. They did the same thing. They squandered their budget measure on trying to repeal Obamacare and failing. And then they squandered the second one on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which is the corporate tax cut. There was no border wall. There was no immigration reform. And so what did Trump do to get Republicans to turn out in the 2018 midterms? He deployed the National Guard to the border. And he went to rallies and said, we're going to call ourselves nationalists again. We're going to use that word again. The midterms came and went. Republicans got destroyed. And what happened? Trump pulled the National Guard back from the border almost immediately. And we never heard him say the word nationalist ever again. They do this every time. Trump knows his base. He knows his people. He knows what they want. He knows what they want to hear, and he always has. And what does it tell you that he can flip a switch like this? For the past year and a half, we heard about immigration. We heard we need the people. Americans have no talent. We need Indians. We're going to staple green cards to diplomas. We need the farm workers. We need the hospitality workers. The radical right won't like this, but they'll understand. We're not going to deport people at Home Depot or meatpacking plants. He's been saying that for a year and a half. What does it tell you? Now that his poll numbers are in the tubes, he could write something like this. Like he flipped a switch. Last week, he goes in an interview and says, Americans have no talent. You think we could pull somebody out of an unemployment line and have them build a Hyundai? You can't. Who's going to build our missiles for us? Americans don't have the talent. We need the immigrants. And then 1 week later, he lets something like that rip where he goes, immigrants are coming here. We have the biggest foreign-born population. They're wrecking society, and no one wants to say anything because they feel guilty. We got to get them out. What does it tell you if he could flip a switch? It means that he knows. He knows. He knows what you want. He knows what you're asking for. He knows what you expect him to deliver. But he refuses to give it to you. Why? Because he knows he doesn't need to. He only brings that out in an emergency. If he can get you to vote without doing those things, he won't do it. If he doesn't think he needs to pander to you, he won't. He will pander to the billionaires because he needs their money. But when he's losing support catastrophically, he knows just which buttons to press, just which levers to pull, just the right words to say. I mean, if you read that post like I just did, you must be thinking, this is amazing. This is awesome. Where's this guy? That guy doesn't exist. It's an act. It's an appeal. People say, are we going to get the 2016 Trump back? Oh, I think this is 2016 Trump. 2016 Trump is a marketing strategy.
Right.
It's like
he
the
never
fucking
existed,
green
for
M&M. Sure. Okay? It is like the Geico Gecko. It is a marketing gimmick. It is like when McDonald's plays Monopoly. It's a marketing gimmick to get you through the door to buy the product. And people go, where was this Trump? That Trump never existed. That is a face that Trump puts on when he desperately needs people to stick with him. And as soon as he gets you back, he takes it off and goes back to taking care of business.
Claudia, I don't know if you remember telling you that I think that you would like this guy. I think in a lot of ways you guys have the same kind of opinion.
That's what happens. And what is that? What else does that tell us? I see people on Twitter and I see people on YouTube, and they say, we need to get on Twitter and we need to tell the president that we don't support this, that, or the other thing. And it presumes that he doesn't know. Whenever I go on Alex Jones, he tells me, we need to tell the president we don't want a war with Iran. Tell the president? What are you talking about? We're talk show hosts. What do you mean we need to tell the president? Doesn't he have millions of dollars in contracts to the best consultants and pollsters? They know what the people want. They know what the people want and what they're asking for and what they expect. They know exactly what they want. And this is the proof. Because when push comes to shove, they know how to give the people what they want. They just choose not to every other time. It's not for lack of being reminded. It's not because fucking Lomez and John Doyle didn't run it up the flagpole on Twitter. It's not because Mike Cernovich tweeted, hey, Trump, I really think this war with Iran is a bad idea. No, they know exactly what the people want. They just don't give it to them unless it is absolutely necessary. Then they will signal that they're prepared to give them what they want. And then they never do. That's what this is. And once you understand that, you understand the game that we've been playing for the past 10 years. It's no different than when at the convention last year, they held up signs saying mass deportations. You see any mass deportations? They're not happening. I saw somebody say, I think it was Daryl Cooper, who I like, but he said, you can't judge Trump unless you give him at least 12 to 24 months first.
got 10 years.
We got to wait until 2027 before we can judge what he did in 25. The next primary for the next election is going to have started already. We can't judge until 2 years in. What are you talking about? This is the game that they play, which is that every election, on an off year, on a major election year, or whenever their poll numbers tank, they will tell you what you want to hear. And
Man, the dude is so right. I mean, God, I don't even know how to respond right now. He's definitely just nailing it. I mean, I'm just sitting back listening because most people do need to know this. Actually, all people need to know this so they lose their power.
Know how to do it. They're very good at it. They're not ignorant. They know exactly what to say. And they get you to buy in. That's the critical word that people don't seem to understand. They want you to buy in. They want you to believe. They want you to have faith. They want you to stand there patiently waiting for your reform with your hands on your hips saying, all right, come on now, Trump. Where's the 2016 Trump? They want you doing apologia for the administration, making excuses, negotiating with yourself. Oh, well, they're waiting for the money to hit from the big, beautiful bill. Well, they just need more time. They need to spin up ICE. It's going to take more time. They want you to do this.
It's not just that, but you do have a tough time. People have a tough time accepting that they've been duped. I mean, or losing hope. Both of those things I think people have a tough time with. And those excuses are not just for the Trump administration that they're making excuses for, it's for their own sanity that they're making the excuses.
So that they can screw you more. And then the next time you're mad, they're going to feed you another line like this. And they have done this for 10 years. They will do it for the next 10 years. And they'll do it for 10 years after that, because that is what they do. That is what politicians do. The only reason that Trump was ever attractive is because his appeal is that he was not a politician. Starting to get it? What was attractive about Trump in 2015 is he said, it doesn't work like that with me. I'm not a politician. What you see is what you're going to get. What I'm saying is what I will deliver. I'll deliver real, tangible victories, not political PR victories. And I could do that because I'm not corrupt. But that was a line. And we learned that very quickly in the first term, that he was not who he said he was.
Right. And let me pause right here and also say that doesn't mean that the Democrats are not corrupt either. So, going into this now, I think that a lot of people that blind spot is going to be removed. And we both know just to expect that everybody's corrupt, just like it was before, back before the 2000. Everything's going back to normal, back before the woke, back before the hoping any politician, back before thinking we're going to make America anything again. Where people are shifting back to the mentality we had before, where you're basically voting between George Bush and whoever the hell he was running against that he went to school with, even. I can't remember. George Bush Jr., whatever the fuck the guy's name was. Look it up.
When he hired Steve Mnuchin and John Bolton and the Swamp Creatures, we knew then that he lied. He was a politician. Saying I'm not a politician was just the latest innovation of the supreme politician, Donald Trump. And he got in, and we learned that the hard way. And so when we came out the second time, or the third time in 2024, there should have been an expectation like, you need to demonstrate that it will be different. But people just rushed back in. And they said, oh, no, I assume it will be different. The rhetoric wasn't like this in the campaign. The rhetoric was terrible. The rallies were terrible. The pledges, the campaign platform was terrible, but people said, we'll sort that out later. Well, now here we are. It's terrible. And what does Trump do? He's going to keep pressing that button, the only one he knows how to press, which is he gets in hot water, gets in trouble. He's going to roll out. He's going to dust off and then roll out the same old playbook. I'm in trouble. Let's do more racism.
Right.
And you people need to understand this, you white people. I know you white people are angry. I'm angry too. I know you poor people are angry. We're all angry. The country is going away. There's no deficit of anger. But demonstrating anger does nothing. What does something is actually getting involved in the political system and making change. And it is so...
Well, and I will say this, actually, yes, getting involved, but also the social component does impact the political component. And so just like the word retard and fag and everything that we've been over in this video, that didn't happen at the ballot box. That didn't happen with a politician signing something. That happened in the hearts and the minds and the voices of the people that are just around. Like what is cool shifts around a lot. Yeah, or I forgot. I think it was it could be what's that guy's name? The British dude, Churchill. I believe Churchill said that politics is downstream from culture.
Easy for people that are angry and sentimental and caught up in their emotions to get wrapped up in statements like this. They're waiting for somebody to affirm or acknowledge their grievances. This is grievance politics. This is white grievance politics. And it is being weaponized against white people, just as black racial politics was weaponized against the black people.
So true.
We call them race hustlers. Donald Trump is like the first white race hustler because he is hustling us as a group. He is hustling white people. He is feigning concern for our ethnic interests without delivering. He barely sees himself as white. They call him a Jew. Mark Levin says you're the first Jewish president. You got Jewish grandkids. Trump is constantly signaling to his predominantly white base with a implicitly white cultural politics and is always stabbing the white people in the back by making appeals to them obliquely in this way. He's the first white race hustler. And it's not to say that we don't need a white identity politics, but it is to say that we need an authentic white identity politics. It isn't a scam.
I don't know that. I will say that in politics, white people don't need to be left out of the conversation. Or I think that, or if come on, Stormy, if giving everyone else a leg up was the aim, it can't be at the expense of pushing the white people down. Yeah, at least not in this country where most of the people are white. I could see if you, like in South Africa, they're doing that. But the white people are minorities there. Anyway, keep going, Nick.
It isn't pandering to our basest instincts where we say, oh yeah, fuck immigrants. I mean, on some level, yes, but let's see the policy. And this is what the Republican Party has become now. It's actually very sad. It is a handshake between the worst elements of the elites and the worst elements of the masses. The most hateful tendencies of...
Man, it is so crazy that he says that. And this is why I think Nick is smart, and why I also wonder why he tries to tap into those parts of people too, because he does like this, even the rage bait or the clip farming. You are inciting. And although a lot of people, yes, they get it. Oh, you say nigger, oh, that's pretty funny. Look, this guy's edgy. There are other people who are just super fucking racist that just love hearing that word, that would look up to you for saying that. So it's interesting that he's aware of that. Meanwhile, he's still, which I guess, to a degree, you understanding the human mind is important when you're trying to maybe not manipulate it more, but coerce it in certain directions.
The masses and the most cynical tendencies of the elites, because the elites do not have this kind of hatred. They don't have this kind of antipathy for foreigners and outsiders that a lot of people among the lower classes do. And the
elites don't really feel a lot of the things that lower class people feel at all. So there's that.
Classes have maybe an authenticity, a plain spokenness that the elites don't have. But they're sort of getting together and they're embracing the worst of both worlds. We're in a race to the bottom where people like Tucker and Trump that are really not on our side. They're not against Israel. They're not pro-white. They're barely Christian. These people are getting together and appealing to superstition, talking about demons and chemtrails, appealing to racism, talking about Ilhan Omar and the Somalis and all that kind of stuff. And there's a race to be the most crass, the most controversial, the most uncivil, the most cruel, without actually delivering change and actually delivering more corruption than ever. So you're getting maximum cruelty. You're not even getting like the good faith, reasonable opposition to these things that comes from a patriotic place. You're getting the worst kind of shock politics where we're just like these fucking retards and blah, blah, faggots and retards. And, you're getting that. You're getting crass, casual cruelty, meanness. You're getting people like Stephen Miller that are just saying like fucking white boomers and third worlders, you're nothing. We're going to round you up. And you're getting maximum cruelty and mean-spiritedness and legitimate, probably just like gross appeals to racism to pander to the masses, while also getting maximum corruption, not delivering real immigration reform, which would benefit everybody, not actually delivering real populist change in the government, but actually entrenching the richest, most powerful interest groups, AI, defense tech, Palantir, Elon Musk, like all these people, the Israel lobby. We're going into Gaza and building a smart city on a mass grave of children murdered by Israel. So you're getting the worst of all of it in the Republican Party. This is the sickness. It's guys like Tucker and Vance and Stephen Miller mean mugging for the camera, saying your third world's gotta go. We hate you. And then turning around and supporting Vance and the Jeet wife, entrenching the interests, and there's no mass deportations at all. What are we?
I don't understand his hyper focus on JD Vance's wife. That's the fact that she's Indian. I mean, is she attractive? I don't know. I haven't seen her, but anyway, it just doesn't sound like as important of a detail. But maybe somebody can explain to me why it is.
Actually doing with any of this? It's disgusting. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of it. I want the opposite. I don't want the mean-spiritedness. I don't want the controversy for controversy's sake. And people say that's rich coming from you. I don't try to be provocative. I just am. And I don't do it for its own sake. I do it for a reason. It's because I'm telling the truth, and the truth is provocative. But I want the opposite. I want the actual change. I want actual immigration moratorium, mass deportations. I want actual suspension of foreign lobbying from Israel and Qatar and from Russia and China. I want all that shut down. I actually want to suspend the asylum requests. I want to build the wall and keep the illegals out. I want to have an America First immigration program. I want all of it without the cruelty, without the mean-spiritedness, without the hatred, without having to feel like we need to appeal to those kinds of things to win people over to our side, without feeding the anger, feeding the grievance. That's what I want. And we're getting the inverse of that. And I think it's deeply wrong. And I want nothing to do with it. So I see the statement from the president and it's like, dude, shut up. You're the president. Deliver it.
Right. Yeah,
he goes on Truth
Social
tweet on Thanksgiving with this rant about we have the largest foreign-born population. They cost all this money. Okay, you've only been the president now for 5 years. Do something about it then. Don't talk anymore. And Trump has really inverted everything. His whole campaign the first time was politicians are all talk, no action. You've been in government for 40 years. You have experience, but it's bad experience. Okay, how long have you been in politics now? And what have you done? Don't bitch about it on Thanksgiving. Just do it. And I have no reason to believe he will. He went from 1 week ago saying, Americans have no skills. We need the people. The deportation numbers are abysmal. We deported 300,000 people in a year. It's nothing. To now this screed. Oh, what, did you just wake up and realize your own voters wanted the deportations? The deportations you promised? Get real.
Yeah, the same deportations that largely got him elected, for sure. He's now, we're a year after the election. Yeah, now he's tweeting about deportations. And he did fake the deportations, but okay. Anyway, I'm not saying that there should be more violent deportations. I'm just saying that more deportations were promised at 300,000 per year. We were letting in 2.5 million. So it would take 10 years to, yeah, anyway, you get the idea.
Just fucking do it then. So no, I am not putting the MAGA hat back on. I am not falling for it again. We must continue to be basically hostile in our opposition to this administration until it delivers, not until it tweets about what we want, until it delivers what we want. We can't keep being the stupid people anymore that give and get nothing in return, that give and there's no reciprocity.
Yeah, also in defense of Nick here, people who are I think he called the plan trusters, the trust the plan guys for Trump, you're going to have to, at a certain point, they're going to have to break off from him, and that you don't have to follow Nick Fuentes or anything, but the kid's got a point here.
More support, more votes, another election, more donations. And the real victories are always just out of reach, just outside our grasp. We were going to do it, but would you settle for a post on True Social? Would you settle for a meta-political victory? I saw some asshole saying that it's a meta-political victory that Trump said reverse migration. Look, I don't know what that is. I want victory, period. Not a meta-political victory, not an abstract victory, not a theoretical victory. I want victory. There's no substitute. I want to win. I want the country to be the way that I want it to be. I don't want another post. I don't want more promises. I don't want another 20-point plan. I want to see fewer immigrants in America today. You're the president. You have a mandate. You have both chambers of Congress. Literally, what is the excuse at this point? And if the excuse is, what about the courts? Forget the courts. Wasn't that the whole LARP? When are we actually going to get it? You could just do things. What if Trump was like Roosevelt? I don't know. What if? Let's see it. I saw Curtis Yarvin tweet about this statement. He said,
what's funny at the beginning of this, and I still feel the same way about the word nigger and faggot and stuff like that. I think that, he and I have slightly different views about that. But overall, I think if you just look past all the crass terminology, he's got a good point, and he's thought about it for a long time.
The lion is unchained or some other stupid thing. It's like, really? Because he made another post on True Social? How old are you again? I mean, we've seen this movie before. But the theme tonight, it's consistent with both of them. We're getting crap. We're getting fucking slop. You're getting people going out, clip farming and saying, retard, third world. And then they turn around and give you dog shit. They give you slop so they can feed you shit. And that's your GOP. It's a disgusting scam. So anyway.
Well, in a two-party system, we're kind of screwed because it's not like the other party's doing any better, but he does have a point, though.
And I saw Cenk Uygur did a statement about this on Thanksgiving for Thanksgiving, and I actually thought he was totally right. He said, even Nick Fuentes is saying we need less cruelty. He said, and that's because populism is winning. I think he's totally right about that, by the way. I think he's absolutely correct. It turns out that Generation Z doesn't really hate anybody. What we want is populism. What we want is order. Now, contrary to the nephew, who says all identity politics is a distraction from class consciousness. No, actually, identity plays a big role in that also. But people don't want the rhetoric. They don't want the shock. People just want...
Also, that is funny, though. He's talking about the nephew. He's, what's Shank's nephew's name? Damn, Hassan Piker. Yeah, Hassan Piker, the Nepo baby, it certainly has an opinion on, like, the problems of the rich. I mean, the bad influence of the rich. Anyway, he's a fucking joke. The rich ass fucking socialist.
First policies. We want a country. It's that simple. So, anyway, that's that. We're going to move on. We'll save the story about Venezuela probably for tomorrow or maybe later in the week. But we're going to take a look at our super chats. We'll see what you guys have to say about all this. And entropy is down. They're having some technical issues. So
and also, what I'm going to do is kind of ride out on the super chats for a minute and then probably cut this off. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I appreciate everybody watching. If you could, just hit that subscribe button. Maybe hit a like here and there.
We're only going to be reading super chats from Rumble tonight. Just the Rumble super chats. Entropy notified us earlier in the day they were having some technical difficulties. All right, let's take a look.
Shell You've Shane sent $25. Would you vote for J.D. Vance if he left to Shaw for a black queen like Candace Owens or Nicki Minaj?
Is that a real question? It would certainly make me like him more. I would respect him a lot more.
Kathy sent $100, counting down the seconds until your debate with Piers Morgan. Something tells me he and his
Like, why in the fuck? Nick Fuentes is a virgin. Why in the fuck does he care who's fucking who, or who, what the race of the person that he's talking about, what the race of the person that he's talking about, what the race of the person that he's talking about is fucking. So if they were black, he would respect it more than if she were Indian. I understand he's talking about America first, but still, I don't know. I'm not on board with that. That's kind of a goofy focus
Won't
point.
dare allow a genuine one-on-one debate with you. Wouldn't be surprised if they drag out Rabbi Dildo Shmuley to monopolize conversation through calculated interruption. You are my hero. Real ass nigga.
Thank you for the big super chat. Well, if Shmuley's there, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to debate that clown. The guy's a complete fool. I would debate another Jew. But that guy's just, I don't know what he is. I don't know what his role is, but he's such a disgusting human being. I don't even think he's an authentic person.
Street Racist sent $20. Did you know that the founder of New Mech and main suspect in the New Mech affair was Ben Shapiro's grandfather?
Is it Ben Shapiro or is it just the name Shapiro?
Snafu Zoomer sent $30. Grow Ipsilon on Instagram over the weekend. God bless Nick and all the clippers. Folded hands emoji.
I saw that, yeah, big purge on Instagram.
The Dark Magician Girl sent $50. We must summon the blue eyes wide dragon. Ethan sent $40. Hey, thanks for dropping some knowledge on me with the libertarian question I asked last week. I recently found out what all it meant, but I didn't take into account with how much individualism plays a part in it and that most of this world is corrupt and wouldn't use that power for good. God bless you and have a great night.
Well, that's not really okay, but thanks anyway.
Mitt Romney sent $20. If life imitates art, then as a movement, we should consider creating and promoting old school American aesthetics, blue jeans, muscle cars, etc. And the world should slowly follow. What are your thoughts?
That's big.
Duck Sausage 6769 sent $20. Tommy G posted your interview with him for under a minute today on YouTube. Did he post it by mistake or why is it down?
I have no idea why that happened.
Raging Cum Shot 46 sent $20. Hey Nick, have you heard of the band Vanessa Drive? They're pretty good.
No, I haven't.
Colorado Groiper 907 sent $20. Happy Wankmas Emperor Nick.
What is this?
Thank you.
Kelsey Zone
Yes.
sent $20. Pies on Nick. Let's go. America firstest.
Thank you very much. We should get like a Christmas mug. I think I have my Santa.
So I think, he's doing the Rumble
Represent
comments, and it seems like the Rumble comments are definitely in agreement. Super chat. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I don't know, Cloudy, how to do super chat. I'm kind of new to this. You're the only person chatting right now, and that's super. I appreciate that.
Pretty sure the Jews are going to send a nuke into the U.S. from an undetected location, and they're going to have some misinformation blitz to pressure Trump to hit Iran quickly in the confusion.
You're pretty sure? Thanks for the big super chat. I love that you're like pretty sure. Like, they smuggled the nuclear bomb into America. And if that were the case, millions will die. Everyone would need to know that information, but you are pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive. Yeah? I mean, anything's possible, but what makes you pretty sure?
Yarl Belgruff 2 sent $20. Kansas Grow Wipers ready for wank winter.
Yeah.
Odyssey 2401 sent $50. Daryl Cooper said he went to one of the Teal dinner parties. Now Hess tweeting about how he could never be talked out of supporting Vance. Then in the replies Hess shilling for Palantir and Teal.
Yeah, Daryl Cooper's been pretty nice to me, so I don't want to trash him or anything, but that's totally insane. This, like, I will never not support Vance. Why? It's not like he's Trump. Like, what about Vance makes you permanently loyal to him? In what way has he demonstrated or proved anything that would warrant that?
Snicker Dog OG sent $20. Hey Nuck, any good book recs for strategy games such as Clash Royale? Art of War maybe? Sincerely the Wang Clan. Irate Iranian sent $25. Listening to Roseanne's rant reminded me of Purim. Greater than Persians return the tribe to Jerusalem, greater than the tribe infiltrate government, greater than anti-tribe lobby forms, greater than tribe kill 80,000, greater than celebrated as high holiday.
Yeah, very
Roy
true.
Banator 3000 sent $20. All I've got to say is I'm thankful for Nick's existence and I got my whole friend group and their families on you.
Awesome. Nice
Roy
work.
Banator 3000 sent $20. I went to NYC last weekend expecting to see tons of Muslims, but there's not many, but they are really retarded drivers.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are not many of them in America. There's some, and they make their presence felt with their public displays of piety, but there's just not a lot of them. You'll see them at like Navy Pier. They got them here. They got them like south and west in the suburbs. But yeah, it's not.
Irate Iranian sent $25. Has your
deal.
team considered making a rolling blacklisted of super chats maybe with links? As more people start watching, people will share their crazy new ideas about starting a double XL third party every night. GSX 123R sent $300. Growing following here at Goldman Sachs. Keep up the generational run. FYI, pretty confident you might be seeing a few billionaires get behind you in the next year from
Ooh.
some things I've heard.
That might be interesting. Well,
Yeah, I think that's actually true. I mean, I don't know if what he's saying true, but I think that that's definitely just inevitable because at the end of the day, you know, you can shut Nick down, but you can't shut down these ideas. And right now, he's just in the same way that people thought Donald Trump was going to be the forebearer for the ideas that they had, that Jeffrey Epstein should be in jail, lock her up. This is what got Donald Trump elected, and that is the energy that he pretended to be the representative of. In the same case with Nick Fuentes, this guy here, he's you know, they might as well contend with him because they've already tried to cancel him. Let's just say that Nick Fuentes got shot tomorrow. You're going to have to deal with another person very similar to Nick Fuentes that could be worse, could be better, could be nicer, could be meaner. But you might as well just contend with him. And if somebody wants to utilize this movement, or if somebody, okay, it's kind of like this. There are large portions of America that are American first. There are smaller portions of America that are America last. So I think that the larger portions that are America first, that is not going to go away, and that's going to be something that is going to have to be contended with, and not whether that be in a bad way or a good way. I'm just saying these people are going to have to be placated. So you might as well, I think the billionaires might as well just get on board and stop trying to fight it because, it's not like, 30 years ago when you can just shut down an idea by just not putting it in the paper or calling it a conspiracy in the paper, and then that would be the end of that. Now, these ideas are stuck here. They're here now, and this is anyway, you get the idea. They're not going anywhere. I'm falling on my words.
Preparing for 2026. I'm sort of bringing it in for a landing. It's been a very long year. I'm going to need like a vacation. I'll take a couple weeks off. I've been going literally nonstop all year. But yeah, 2026, we're going to have some new projects I would think the billionaires will be very interested in. But thank you for the huge super chat. I appreciate it.
Sent $50. I found your show from your past debates on YouTube, like the Ukraine-Russia war debate against Destiny Cooked. I really enjoy your commentary on geopolitics. God bless and congrats on a great year.
Thanks a lot.
Noego sent
Appreciate it.
$50. No message.
Thank you.
Northman's 1957 sent $100. Hey Nick, I'm Middle Easterner, so are lots of my friends. We don't want to be here. Stop destroying our region and we will move back ASAP. I'm a contributing member of society in the meantime. Look.
Yeah, that's not true, though. There's a lot of Muslims here that don't want to return. So,
that's
maybe
a
you feel
good
that
point.
way, but that's not how a lot of people feel.
Bean Supreme 44 sent $20. Hello, Nick. Me and my wife love the show and have 3 young children. We were wondering if you could make a kids cartoon about the Jewish question. Joe Doyle 96 sent $50. Sad that you were snubbed for Anti-Semite of the Year. Also saw that Crowder said you'll be on Thursday. Looking forward to it.
You saw those things?
Big
Yeah,
Sleaze Bag sent $20. Enjoyed the long break? Here's some of my birthday money. Genuinely want to know why a majority of black peoples don't know phonics past Gucci Mane in 2006? Cletus 1643 sent $20. All roads lead to Rome. God bless you, sir. Talman 36 sent $20. Numerology is biblical. The Trinity corresponds with the 3 master numbers. 11 the number of emotion / spirituality. 22 creation / physical. 33.
This is devil worship.
1103 sent $20. Megachurch pastor Josh Howard denounced you on his podcast today. Josh MC Ferson also denounced you on his last week. Both pastors have been to the White House multiple times. Coincidence?
All right.
Who?
I'll tell you what, I'm getting kind of lost over here in Nick's super chat. But you know what? I think we're actually going to wind this down. It went a little longer than I thought, and I really appreciate everybody tuning in. As I said, please hit that subscribe. I'm going to make these more interesting as time moves on. I'm just kind of getting used to it, just getting used to sitting here and trying to be interesting because, that's an act. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Still working on that inline, my tagline at the end there, but stay tuned and hopefully that will be cool too. Appreciate it.